Legacy Maker, the All Sports Network.
Some of the best moments in sports are the monumental upsets that rarely occur in big moments. If you like rooting for the underdog, you don't often have reason to cheer. But sometimes, special teams and athletes can pull off huge surprises. I'm Drew Willingham with the Legacy Maker Sports Network, and today we bring you the top 10 biggest upsets in sports history. Number 10, 1985. Number 8 seed Villanova beats Georgetown for the NCAA basketball title. Beating the Ewing-led Hoyas, who won the title the year before and were on a 17-game winning streak, this Georgetown team was dominant and downright nasty. But because there was no 35-second shot clock like today's game, Villanova held the ball to control the tempo. In Ewing's last game as a Hoya, Villanova shot 78% from the field, pulling off an upset that no one gave them a chance to accomplish. Number 9, 1969. New York Jets defeat Baltimore Colts in Super Bowl III. Joe Namath, probably heard the name a few times, publicly guaranteed a victory over the 18-point favored Baltimore Colts. To be the AFL team in previous meetings, you were seen as a current CFL team would be playing in the NFL. Things like this shouldn't happen, but it did, and it brought light to people's eyes. An estimated 41.66 million viewers witnessed what's considered the greatest upset in American football history, a 16-7 Jets victory. Would Johnny Unitas replacing Earl Morrall earlier in the game before throwing his 3 interceptions have mattered? We will never know. However, Unitas did lead Baltimore to their only score of the game. Number 8, 2000 Olympics. Rulon Gardner defeats Alexander Karelin of Russia for the super heavyweight wrestling gold medal. Karelin was one of the most popular and most decorated wrestlers in the world. Many thought the 3-time gold medalist was unbeatable in the 286-pound weight class. People thought Rulon Gardner was just a farm boy from Wyoming, and that the challenge was too big to overcome. At the 3:23 mark in the match, Karelin is penalized for fleeing a hold, awarding Gardner a point. Karelin displayed a surprised reaction as he had not given up a point in international competition in 10 years. Gardner would go on to win the match 1-0. Number 7, NCAA football. ODU beats Virginia Tech. Everyone in the sports world remembers this since it just happened this season. ODU's win gives the Monarchs its first against an Atlantic Coast Conference football team, as well as its first win against a Power 5 conference team. It was Virginia Tech's first time facing the Monarchs in Norfolk, Virginia. 49-35 was the final score, hardly anywhere close to the predicted 27-point spread which favored the Hokies. This is recorded as the biggest upset of an ACC school in 40 years, and the first ever win against a ranked opponent by the Monarchs of Old Dominion. Number 6, 2007 NCAA football. Appalachian State defeats Michigan 34-32. Michigan, ranked number 5 first Division I AA team to be defeated by a Division I A team. Appalachian State coach Jerry Moore was very confident in his team, leading them to the big house with hopes to compete. As they led 28-17 at halftime, Coach Moore told his players they would get the best the Big Ten has to offer in the second half. After an epic battle in the second half, Appalachian State led with 26 seconds left. Michigan would get in position to kick the game-winning field goal, only to be blocked by Appalachian State, shocking the 100,000 in attendance in the college football world. Number 5, 2007. New York Giants defeat New England Patriots in Super Bowl 42. The perfect season's hopes shattered on the biggest stage of football. The 16-0, now 18-0 entering the Super Bowl Patriots were the 12-point favorites against a Giants team that nobody thought could pull it off. This is where the memorable helmet catch by David Tyree happened. On the final drive of the game, a game-winning drive led by quarterback Eli Manning, a final score of 17-14 meant the Giants were the first NFC wildcard team to ever win a Super Bowl. The fourth quarter saw a Super Bowl record 3 lead changes, also being the first Super Bowl since Super Bowl IX in 1975, where neither team scored 20 or more points in a game where the Pittsburgh Steelers defeated the Minnesota Vikings 16-6. Eli Manning goes on to earn the game's MVP in Super Bowl 42, and joins brother Peyton as the first sibling duo to win back-to-back Super Bowls at quarterback. Number 4, 2018. Number 16, UMBC beats number 1 UVA in the NCAA basketball tournament. UVA had 2 losses all year, while UMBC earned their NCAA bid on a three-pointer with 0.6 seconds left in the American East Championship game. UVA allowed 53.4 points per game, which was the best in college basketball. UMBC was ranked 177th by professionals, including 212th in offensive efficiency. Shooting 50% from three-point range, UMBC overwhelmed UVA 74-54 in probably the biggest upset in college basketball history. Before we round out our top 10 list, let's take a look back at some honorable mentions. Number 3, 1980, the Miracle on Ice. U.S. Olympic hockey team defeats Soviet Union. The United States hosted the Winter Olympics in Lake Placid, New York. The Soviets had won gold in 5 of the last 6 Winter Olympics in hockey and were heavily favored once again. The Americans had different plans though. The United States was the youngest team in the tournament and the youngest team in U.S. national team history, mostly consisting of amateur players. In the group stages, both teams were unbeaten. This game marked the first game in the medal round. The game's first period ended in a 2-2 tie. The Soviets then took the lead by the end of the second period by a score of 3-2. The Americans then scored the final 2 goals to end the game with a 4-3 victory. The International Ice Hockey Federation named the Miracle on Ice as the best international ice hockey story of the past 100 years. The United States then went on to beat Finland in the gold medal game. Number 2, 1983. NC State defeats Houston in the NCAA basketball tournament. NC State rallied to win the ACC tournament as their last hope to get into the big dance. Led by coach Jim Valvano, the Wolfpack skated by Pepperdine in double overtime and UNLV in the first 2 rounds. After defeating ACC rival Virginia, led by big man Ralph Sampson, only Houston stood in the way of an NCAA title. Although Clyde Drexler and Hakeem Olajuwon brought star power to Houston's roster, the Cardiac Pack led UH by 8 at halftime. As Houston stormed back with a 17-2 run in the second half, NC State remained poised. With the game tied at 52 on the last possession, Derek Wittenberg's shot from deep falls into the hands of Lorenzo Charles, who dunks it in to complete the iconic victory for the North Carolina State Wolfpack. Number 1, 1990. Buster Douglas defeats Mike Tyson, who was a 42-1 favorite prior to the fight. Tyson went into this fight as the undefeated and undisputed heavyweight champion. He held the WBC, WBA, and IBF titles. This was considered a warm-up fight for the undefeated number 1 contender Evander Holyfield, who was ringside for this fight. Tyson was such a dominant heavyweight force that he was also considered the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, which was rare for a heavyweight fighter. Douglas had lost his mother 23 days prior to the fight. The mother of his son was facing a severe kidney ailment, as well as contracting the flu the day prior to the fight. Needless to say, things were working against Douglas. Douglas was controlling the fight until the final 10 seconds of the 8th round, where Tyson landed a big right uppercut that forced Douglas to the canvas. Many thought it was over, but Douglas got to his feet after a 9 count, which was somewhat controversial according to Don King after the fight. Tyson barely survived the beating he took in the 9th round. An aggressive Buster Douglas landed multiple combinations in hopes of taking the fight by knockout. In the 10th round, Douglas was able to connect with a devastating uppercut followed by a 4-punch combination to Tyson's head which knocked him to the canvas. That marked the first time in Tyson's career that he was knocked down in the ring. He frantically located his mouthpiece, which had fallen out, and stumbled to his feet to try to beat the 10 count. However, he declared the 10 count, resulting in the end of the fight, crowning Douglas the new heavyweight champion. The official scorecards through 9 rounds were 87-86 for Tyson, 86-86, and 88-83 for Douglas. Which historical upset should we have mentioned in this list? Tell us in the comments section down below. If you've enjoyed this video, please click like and share. As always, we thank you so much for watching.
Legacy Maker, the All Sports Network.